Hello everyone. I'm going to discuss a YouTube video that I've also posted on the Contextually Immediate Facebook group called There's an App for That. We've all seen some of these commercials quite a few times. They come out with a new one every time they have a new iPhone or anytime there's a new app. Also, they're present on the Android phones as well, I do believe. But Apple's been the ones that have really pushed for these kind of applications. I'm also going to relate this to the article we read in class last Monday from Slack and Wise. It discusses the conveniences and how they're important in our society today. Um, I'll start off by giving a little bit of a definition from Slack and Wise about technological conveniences. These were originally designed in order to make our everyday lives easier, involving less effort and time and work in order to achieve a process. The YouTube video that I posted begins by talking about finding a cab in a strange city, which can be a very scary situation if you're not sure where you're at. Um, and it shows an app to be able to, find a appropriate service for cost in any city around the world. The second thing it discusses is an application that will help you calculate how much each person should have to pay if you're in a large party. You can put in exactly how much your bill was, and then you can change how many people there were in order for it to tell you how much each of you needs to pay. And there's also a tip calculator, which is very convenient in some situations. But the point is that there's something for everything. There's even an application that is a level. So if you've got a picture hanging on the wall and you're not sure if it's level or not, you can use the app for that. There's really something for just about everything, and they're getting more and more every single day. Um, these have also progressed with the iPhone technology increasing as well. The latest iPhone that came out even allows you to video conference face to face, just like we're doing now, or Skype um, from your iPhone. You don't even have to worry about getting access to a computer anymore. You can do it right from your phone, which is considered a convenience factor and can be great if you're across the country from friends and loved ones. Um, but the question comes in, is there too much of a good thing? Like, are we becoming too dependent upon these technological sources? Especially today with the internet and Facebook and YouTube. It's easy to sit down at a computer and spend just a couple of hours looking at something because they are at our fingertips. I don't even have to pull up my computer anymore. I have a BlackBerry, and it doesn't have the apps that iPhone does, but I can still access the internet, access YouTube, and a lot of these convenience factors that before we didn't have access to. In preparation for this, I also looked up some old cell phone commercials, like from the late 1990s and early 2000s, and just to see the differences in cell phones from then to now is pretty amazing. There was one for the first Nokia phone and how you could change the face, and there was all these different colors, and the cell phone was really, really big. Um, and now we have cell phones that are very tiny, very thin. It's all about how much you can fit in a small package, which is another convenience factor. You can have everything in one place. As a student that rides the bus to class now, it's great to have a phone that you can check to see when the bus is coming on your way out the door to make sure you're not missing it, or just to keep you constantly up to date. I don't have to sit on campus and pull my computer out to find out when my bus is going to be there. I can just check real quick on my phone. And these conveniences they're not necessary, but I've become dependent upon them. Um, and I think a lot of people really are. I can barely go anytime without my phone just because it's something that we're all used to having. Um, and that's something that the iPhone is going for, is to have a little bit of something to achieve any kind of task. Um, there's a flashlight on there, there's games if you're bored, there's even an application that will help you figure out where to go to dinner. If you want to put in your city, what kind of food you want, how much money you want to spend, it'll help you out. And you shake the iPhone and it spins like a slot machine. So it's a little bit of entertainment and with a convenience source. So each of these things, they're set as limits. The first iPhone that came out, it had strict limits on what it was doing. And as we've seen with the iPhone 4, there's new features, especially with the camera in the phone, to be able to do face-to-face communication just from your phone. So the iPhone is constantly setting goals as to what it can do, and I think now there's even the video out for the next phone about the things that it's supposed to accomplish. So that's something else that was mentioned with Slack and Wise, was that once one goal is reached, they're constantly setting another one higher and higher in order to push forward and reach these goals. And that's really what's going on with a lot of these apps and the technology increases that we're seeing across the board in all forms of technology. Um, Another thing that was previously mentioned was the ability to reproduce the presence, which is something that the new iPhone has offered, which has been great. Like I said, if you're far away from friends and loved ones, it really helps convenience. Um, but is this too much? Some people would say yes. Some people still don't even want to have any access to a phone or these applications. They think it's becoming too dependent, and it's actually causing a decrease on human interaction, face-to-face interaction. Um, I'll find myself sitting at dinner with somebody and I'll constantly check my phone, and I feel guilty that I'm distracted, but it's become such a constant thing that we have around us that we're just dependent upon it. And I do think it is beginning to limit the amount of interpersonal communication that we're having with other people, because we are using so many technology mediated sources that came about as wants and have become almost a necessity in our lives. There's not many people nowadays that walk around without a cell phone, just because the security that it can offer. It's not very safe for a female to walk out at night, especially without a phone, to where if something were to happen, they would be able to get up with somebody. So this has become very important, as well as something that is a convenience as well. So it's become almost a necessity to have these things in order to feel safe, in order to feel comfortable and connected to others that may not be around at the moment. Which relates it to the time and space aspects that Slack and Wise also mentioned. Um, as far as time goes, you're always in contact with other sources. I get email on my phone. I can send a quick message to anybody instantly, and it's great because it's in real time. You can send things across the country almost in an instant just from your phone without having to call anyone or even pull out a computer and pick up a phone. So it's really become convenient, and the space that it offers. I mean, the distances are huge, but you can still reach far away with these technology sources. Um, but the expectations about what technologies are supposed to do for us have become increasingly more demanding, with enormous consequences for the nature and quality of cultural life, which is what Slack and Wise mentioned on page 38. And that's just saying that we're constantly becoming so dependent upon these sources that we're always wanting more. Everyone always wants a technology source that's going to do something for them. It'd be great if we had one to write papers for us, but it's just some things aren't possible. And these technology sources are trying to, make life as simple as possible and help us out in any convenient way that they can, such as having a flashlight at your fingertips, helping you calculate a bill or find a taxi. It's great. Um, we were recently in Albuquerque for the tournament, and one of the guys with us had an iPhone, and he used the map to help us get around the city and find places to eat for dinner, and it was great because we had really bad internet service at the hotel, and without that, we wouldn't have known some of the resources that we had in the city and where to go. So it was really nice to have this convenience with us while we were there, just to help us, you know, get around in a place we weren't familiar with. The downfall is that they're not always updated. I know we typed in somewhere to eat and we're headed there, and you get there and you find out that the building no longer exists. So they're not always the most up to date when it comes to things like that, and that's where problems can arise. And also, just too many applications can overload a phone as well. So there are problems with the technologies that are being seen. Even with computers, it's easy to overwhelm them with convenience factors and wants. So there are problems, but each and every edition that comes out, it works to solve these problems and push forward and make something better. Um, and that's really the main goal of these conveniences, is to make life as easy as possible, with the least amount of time and effort, in order to help us achieve our everyday goals. Thanks, guys. I hope y'all have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.